We all have that friend who claims to be over their toxic ex, but we know they aren't, especially when we find them lying and breaking trust in the friendship. Unfortunately, Galadriel is that buddy, which Elrond is a jerk to her. Despite her promise to defeat Sauron, Galadriel continues to wear a ring that is part of Sauron's grand plan. Throughout the episode, Elrond remains skeptical and expresses his doubts about Galadriel and the ring. Episode 4 begins with Galadriel being irritated that Elrond is leading the task group she originally formed, and she maintains this attitude throughout their voyage. With 4 other elves on their squad, they journey to a region in a picturesque location that looks like a New Zealand tourism commercial and discover that the bridge connecting them to the city has been damaged. As the navigator proposes alternate paths, Galadriel detects evil heightened by her ring and warns them of the southern path. Guards her concerns and informs her as they continue south, "This company will not take counsel from that trinket, nor will you, burn." The joke is on them, they should have listened to her little trinket. As they walk through Tirn Gorthad, also known as the Barrow Downs, the elves come across the bodies of their messengers, who failed to convey Gil-galad's word to Celebrimbor. They are subsequently attacked by Barrow Rights, the malevolent undead, who murder one of the elves. The remaining crew defeats the Barrow Rights and mourns their loss. Galadriel tries to persuade her former bestie that the ring will help them destroy Sauron. She starts to see other visions, including Elrond being imprisoned and witnessing Sauron's fiery wicked visage. She makes Elrond pledge that conquering Sauron comes first, even over her own life, and he agrees. The elves discover orcs marching towards a region, and must return to Lindon to notify the High King about the oncoming peril. Inadvertently hits one of the elves. The orc was aiming at a wild horse. As Galadriel applies pressure to the soldier's wound, her ring mysteriously heals him. Surprised by its power, she hands Elrond her ring while providing a distraction, allowing the others to flee. She fights multiple orcs but is eventually caught by Adar. As the elven crew approaches Lindon, the soldiers believe Galadriel sacrificed herself to save them, but Elrond says harshly, "It was to save the ring." Back with the stranger and the Harfoots, the trio is separated due to the stranger's failed magic spell. As he hunts for Nori and Poppy, he is captivated by a limb from a tree. He tries to break it off, but the tree gradually absorbs him. The jolly Tom Bombadil enters and instructs the tree to release the stranger, which it does. Tom then welcomes the stranger inside his home, where he bathes and eats. Many Tolkien fans will recognize Tom when he tells the stranger that he has been on this earth for many years, even before rivers and trees existed. Though he is an observer of the universe and does not get involved, he possesses some magical abilities that allow him to manipulate the natural world. The stranger asks Tom to teach him this magic and how to use a staff, but Tom doesn't believe he's ready. Tom recalls meeting another wizard who turned dark and evil through power, but required a powerful friend like Sauron to rule all of Middle-earth. The stranger realizes that he must confront the Dark Wizard and Sauron. Cut to the Dark Wizard and the Bronze Skeleton Rider, who informs him of the stranger's whereabouts. Rather than confronting the stranger again, the Dark Wizard orders the horsemen to capture the Harfoots instead. Nori and Poppy awaken in the desert, and are discovered by a store named Merrimack, who develops feelings for Poppy. He brings them to his hamlet, where Nori discloses that she is hunting for her wizard buddy. They know one wizard, the Dark Wizard, and they don't meddle with him, so the villagers resolve to banish Nori and Poppy, until Nori remembers Sadok Burrow. A villager tells the girls about a store named Burrows, who led a caravan of followers to find a permanent home for all stores and Harfoots, which they named the Souza, also known as the Shire. Nori tells them with tears in her eyes that the Harfoots are still homeless. The Bronze Skeleton Riders come into the store's village looking for the Harfoots, but the stores refuse to hand up Nori and Poppy. The rider leaves with a threat that the Dark Wizard will deal with the stores himself. Meanwhile, back in the Southlands, Arondir and Isildur lead a search party to find Theo but return empty-handed. Estrid, with whom Isildur is constantly flirting, advises moving north. Arondir is skeptical of her, and he reveals to everyone that Estrid is Adar's wildman follower, back by the revelation. Yet it is clear that he still has feelings for her. Isildur and Arondir have handcuffed her and are keeping an eye on her while they look for Theo. She proves herself useful when Isildur and Arondir are drawn into the mud by a beast and she tries to save them. However, Arondir, being who he is, kills the beast from within its stomach, freeing himself and Isildur. Estrid is released from her bonds and has a, to me, rather cringeworthy moment with Isildur, before resuming survivor mode and threatening him with a sword. Just as the love-struck Isildur swears to defend Estrid, she is knocked out by an Ent, who sees the sword as a threat to the forest. Arondir addresses the Ent, explaining that the blades are intended to battle orcs, not trees. The orcs have caused significant damage to the Ent's dwelling, leaving them devastated. One of the Ents even accuses all species in Middle-earth, including orcs, man, dwarves, and elves, to which Arondir begs pardon, promising to keep the trees peaceful. They accept and lead him to Theo and the other caught wildmen, including Estrid's absent betrothed, leaving Isildur devastated. Theo feels grateful to Arondir for maintaining his promise to Onwin and protecting him. Now that Theo is safe, Arondir has to make another commitment to stop the orcs, which may mean he will finally meet up with his fellow elf companions again.